Yeah, we wore the same shirt. How am
This means we are a civilization that long ago has split up and lost contact with each other.
I guess so. And you
Yeah.
became the peaceful people, and I became the warlike people.
All right, it's 1 o'clock and there's 4 people in the waiting room. There's for sure 7 coming and possibly as many as 11.
Heavens.
Should I?
I'm not scared.
Should I let them in?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
Release the hounds.
Hello.
Hi.
Greetings.
How you doing?
Welcome, welcome.
Good to see everybody. Ooh, the warlike people.
Everybody that Andy and I picked these shirts without discussing anything. We just went to these shirts.
I thought I need a pyramid sort of shirt. Ooh, this one will be good.
But you have 1 million pyramid shirts. I only have 1.
I have like 10.
Wow, I can only think of like maybe 3.
Oh well, I mean, if you count in all the old pyramid tournament, like Ice House tournament shirts,
yeah, right.
at least 5 or 6 right there.
There.
And
hello from Spain. It's good to see you. Hey, I would like to check. Jose Marie, is that how you say your name? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Am I close?
Well,
anyway,
we don't know if they have audio.
With an A at the end. So Jose Maria. Okay, very good. Well, it's great to have you here. Thank you. And you too, Pinky and Heather and Archie, Steve.
Sorry, I'll edit that. That's for a whole different other thing.
We are expecting a few more. John is being all cute and everything, and
being peaceful.
Peaceful. Meanwhile, Andy is being all warlike. Let's see. So I know that Jonathan wanted to come, but he is going to be late or not at all because he had other commitments. And there are a few more. We were expecting 7 for sure, and maybe as many as 11. So we might wait a couple more minutes to get started.
Well, we have to decide who's going first, John.
Yeah, I'll go first.
That sounds peaceful.
Well, he's just going to build.
I just want to set a good example, you know.
Okay.
Since obviously we're wearing the same T-shirts, so we are the same race, but we split up many, many eons ago, and we don't know each other anymore.
Yes, these pyramids are your cities burning, John.
Ah.
Well,
so for protocol,
okay.
I was thinking of just as usual, like it's game night, me texting you my moves.
Yeah, but we can do our moves in the Zoom chat this time so that everybody can follow them there.
Great.
But yeah, we'll write our moves out like we usually do. So yeah, for everybody else, thank you for joining us. But you're looking in on something that John and I do every week. All through the pandemic, we've been playing on the light board. It's just like a usual game night for us, right, John? And I will win like usual, right, John?
That's right. That's by 1,000 cuts. Yeah.
Got my sword right here. All right. So whenever you're ready, you can declare what your homeworld will be. And yes, more people can join as they arrive, but you know, we can catch them up on what we've done so far as needed. And also, my recommendation for all the people watching is that you take the screen of the image of the game and pin it to your screen so that it'll be, you'll have the game as big as you can on your screen.
I like Steve's comment about Jonulus and Andymus.
Yes, well, of course, Romulus.
Oh, I just saw that.
All right. So you're doing something different, John. What is this, John?
Oh man, he's come to mess with you right off the bat, which
Well,
is
he has. He's stealing my whole opening. He's using the opening I used on him last time.
John number 1 right there. John 101.
What? Messing with Andy?
Yes.
No. Doing the unexpected. All right. Gosh, how do I respond to these charges?
Wow, I got you thinking already.
I know. I'm like, should I do what I usually do, or should I follow you down your path? No, I'll go for my usual. So since you've gone factory, I'll go banker, and that means I want to have a small blue and a medium yellow as my star. All right. So let me type my move in as well. All right, and then of course I'll just say we both build, because of course we both build.
Hey, that's what I said.
And then it's your turn, John. What are you doing? Oh, we did both say that. All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm really glad you're here, but I don't know how you got here. I didn't give you the password.
Ah, he snuck in. I have a Facebook Messenger thread with John and Will, where we have our usual game convos, and that's where I was telling John the code to get into this meeting, and somehow Will listened in.
That's good. I'm glad he's here.
Yes. All right. What you doing, John?
Well, I had typed out a whole move and then I took it back.
Oh, interesting.
All right, I'll do the usual.
The usual. That seems not usual to me.
I guess usual meaning expected.
So if any of you spectators have questions or things you want to talk about as we play, just jump right in. Not you, Will.
So
I knew not me. I was fully aware that wasn't being spoken to me.
So I would put Will in the advanced category and Steve in the upper middle approaching advanced category. Maybe advanced, I don't know. Where would you put yourself?
Oh, Will's advanced.
So far I've been in the cadet, like in the little kids table, because they haven't, they don't have enough players in the tournaments to make a middle table yet. But as John puts it, there's a couple of us in the cadets category that could be pushed forward if there was more. So I guess by his description, I'd be very low captain.
Yeah, I would agree with that and moving up fast. You are probably the fastest learner of this game I've ever seen. I mean, 6 months ago you hadn't played this game, right?
Yeah, but that's because you didn't see Paul Peterson learn the game and beat me in 4 games.
Fair. Okay, but so the rest of you, I don't actually know. So for Heather, well, and Layla, I would say is about the same place as Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're the two players John was talking about possibly pushing us up into a next tier.
Wait a minute. Steve, are you a medal holder?
No, I had one chance, I blew it.
Yeah, no, Layla is clearly a higher level than you. She's in the medal holder camp.
Well, she is a medal holder, but in actual play, if she plays against you or John or Will, she's going to lose more than win.
That may be, but she's still definitely a step above someone who hasn't won a medal, no matter what you might assess their skill levels to be.
Okay, I wasn't actually trying to like rank everybody this minutely. I was just trying to get a feel for where, you know, how much explaining we should do as we go. Because like Heather and Pinky and Jose Maria, I do not know whether you have ever played the game or where you stand.
I've been playing for a few months.
Okay, great.
I've been playing with my friend Kelsey, where we kind of learned the rules as we went, as we played a few, you know, games as we got started. And I've also been playing a game with my mom the last few days that we keep having to stop and then resume again, and because I'm teaching her.
Yeah, that happens a lot around here too. Okay, well, good. Heather, how about you?
So as far as I'm concerned, this game makes my brain hurt. It's the best way of, my husband, my kids, they love it, but man, it makes my brain hurt. So that's why I'm watching this, to try and follow it and figure it out. Like, I kind of know the rules, but like what this A and B thing that just showed up is about, I have no idea. So anyway, that's where I am.
Okay.
Well, the A and B are just letters we put to mark the stars so that we can refer to them by a code. So because we're writing out our moves, we need to be able to refer to the stars by name. In a regular tabletop face-to-face, you don't need to do that, but for record keeping, we do. So that's what the letters are about.
All right, and Jose Maria says that he's also never played, but has been watching and learning and wants to jump in. So we've got two pretty new, a few in the middle and a few on the high end. We got a little of everything. That's great.
Random question. Is there a reason you haven't stacked your homeworlds?
Yeah, just because on the light board, it looks a little bit more confusing stacked.
Okay.
But it's also kind of a nod to the fact that this is a pyramid game that you don't need stacking pieces to play.
Right.
It was invented in the pre-stackable pyramids days.
Yeah.
And I still kind of like not stacking them for that reason.
Ah.
Yeah, I had a couple things to say. One is, Heather, it also hurts my brain.
Yeah, it hurts everybody's brain, I think. Just some of us like our brain to be hurt.
Exactly. Yeah, it hurts our brains in a good way.
Well, okay, I didn't say if it was good or bad. I just said it does, you know?
We're all in agreement, I think.
Yep. And the second thing that I wanted to say is, to his credit, I think Steve just choked on that game that he lost against you, Andy. And I think it was because he was sort of put on the.
Yeah, exactly.
He was suddenly in front of everybody playing, and it was just a different, sort of different venue.
He had absolutely no warning. It was at the end of an event, something like this, that we just went, "Hey, you want to do the challenge?" And he's like, yeah.
So I think, he did not have the psychological advantage on that. So.
Well, besides, geez, Andy, how many people beat you? Everyone has to play you multiple times before they beat you.
That's not true.
Most people.
I have lost in my first game out.
How many times?
At least once. It was memorable when it happened.
And how many medals have you given out?
It was Croy, the guy who
I
did
know.
Homeworlds Live.
Yeah,
The
he beat
the
me
one,
the
yeah.
first time.
that's the only one I remember.
It may be the only one.
Well,
But
Croy
it was
did.
very, very painful, so it sticks in my mind.
Well, Croy did, but also
Oh, Babamonts did.
Babamon did. That's true, and so did Peterson, as you said.
No.
Peterson played him 4 times
Okay,
before he
all
beat
right.
it.
Okay, so not him.
But
But-
those were the only 4 times he'd ever played, so that's
Right,
why it
just-
was like, oh
But,
my
and
God,
then also
that's a machine.
oh, I'm trying to come up with his name. Dang it. Matt Fantastic.
Oh yeah, I beat him a bunch of times before he won.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was like 3 years in a row that Matt challenged because I was there for all 3 of them.
Okay.
Thela, you're the one we've been playing in the tournament, or am I confusing you with a different Leilana or?
I have not been playing in the tournament.
Okay, so yeah. Then my previous statements were incorrect.
I missed them, so it doesn't matter.
And plus, Steve, there's going to be room at the top too, because I'm going the other direction now. I used to be better.
That is so not true, dude. You played me like a week and a half ago and beat me.
And to be, like John, you were being very kind. That yes, I may have choked on that particular move, but I anticipated losing ultimately to Andy no matter what in that game.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, most of the
This is
time.
why you fail. You expected to.
Hey, it takes.
Anticipation is different.
So let's talk a little about what's going on in this game.
Mhm.
So, so
Really, John?
the ships pointing to the left are Andy's. The ships pointing to the right are John's. And oh, is it backwards for you guys? Sorry. Okay.
Andy's driving eastward. John is driving westward.
I'm about to blow up.
Isn't that what I just said?
I'm the one over here where it says Andy. This is me. The one where it says John, that's John.
Okay, well, what I was trying to say is that the ship's pointing tells who it is. If it's pointing away from Andy, it's Andy's ship. If it's pointing away from John, it's John's ship. So, and
in this game, they're not allowed to use blue or red, evidently.
All right, John. I don't know what you think you're doing there, but I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
I'm moving my small in here and blowing you up.
It was one of those cases where I said, oh, I better not build another green there because Andy will come in and blow me up. And so what should I do instead? And I went through all these other options, and eventually I got around to, oh, I could just grow another green there. I totally forgot that second part.
Well, why don't you take it back? Then?
you want
Rethink
to
that,
take-
John.
Okay.
so more,
So the money's off the table already?
There's never been any money on the table. This is just an exhibition game.
so for more beginning players, what we were talking too much and things didn't get thought through, and there was almost a catastrophe, which is if there are 4 of any particular color at a star, then either player can call catastrophe and all of those pieces go away, and the star would have gone away too in this case because that was the only color ships there were there.
So John had built this ship here, and if he did that, I would then move this in, and there'd be 4 there, and I'd call catastrophe, and we'd lose all of that. And I would set him back more than it would set me. So I like that move. But I said, John, don't do that. Undo. And so I've given John his first free undo.
Oh,
Out of
snap.
17.
There
That's a
might,
real trash
there
talk.
might be as many as 3.
Oh, I thought it was 17. Okay.
Oh, really? Jeez, I don't. Where
He's
was
a
I doing those negotiations? That is my favorite number, though, so it checks out.
Yeah, you wrote it down right here.
That makes sense.
So there is no money on the table, but that was a free undo.
That was a free undo.
All the money is under the table.
That's right.
Under the table money.
Now we're in the future. We don't have money. We everything's replicated now.
But we have things that are free.
But you can't replicate gold pressed latinum.
That's true.
But no one ever explains why.
Andy, I took my turn, but there was some
I
other.
already did it, Andy. It's right above you.
Oh, but I'm on a roll now.
Okay, but you used the wrong words. Oh, and now Jose Maria is doing it too. We're all doing it.
All right. Did you move though, John? What did you do?
Great.
I traded my green one for a yellow one.
Ah, all right. That's good.
Good for you.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to build a yellow immediately.
That's what I expected.
Yes. I always do exactly what's expected.
So he's able to build like that because he's got a green star there. And he's only able to build a ship that is of a color he's already got there.
Does that include the star?
It does not, only ships. As Andy puts it, it's like you are using spare parts from your ship to build another ship.
You have to have a ship to look at to build another one. It's like reverse engineering.
Yeah, the game has changed significantly since you changed your starting binary homeworld, Andy. Because Andy used to always start with blue and red binary star and then a large green ship.
And then he gave out medals and then he changed.
And then came Will.
Yep, you can blame that all on Will.
Yeah, it's all totally Will's fault.
Um,
He showed me the error of my ways and made me change my standard homeworld a couple of times.
right.
A couple.
But I'm just saying,
Couple of times.
Will, it's not just, it's that Andy has started changing his game and improving his game is part of why you have been feeling like it's harder to beat him, but he's only gotten better because you were getting better.
My job.
Guess I should play Will more.
You should actually, John.
I know I should.
Well, the problem is, John, you think I'm better than I am really.
The thing about both John and Will, so John is a very in-your-face player, and Will is an erratic player. He will try just about anything at any time.
You got that reversed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I put money down on what John's gonna do?
Yeah.
I'll
But you
type
have
it
to
into
put it
the
under the
chat.
table.
I'll type it in the chat.
I'll see
And
it
so
in the
look,
chat.
guys.
Oh, look. Yeah, John, stop looking at that.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's just wait until after he does it, and then you can say whether you were right or not. Okay.
Or you could type it out first.
And I won't hit enter.
Right.
Not send until after I've put in my move.
Yeah, I like that.
Or write Pig Latin.
Oh yeah, because John wouldn't be able to read that.
Yeah, he can't read that.
Yeah. That's true. I've known John a long time, and he's never been able to read Pig Latin.
3B, what could that be?
The thing is, John doesn't know what to do. You may have John's move figured out, but John does not.
He'll come up with a much better move somehow. Like
Actually,
that I can't even.
more than that, I have 5 things I want to do.
Why?
So I'm just trying to, winnow it down.
Well, okay, so maybe you don't want to talk about them because you don't want to tell Andy what you're thinking, but if you want to talk about them, that would be good teaching.
Well, here, I tell you what, I will silence my speaker and step away for a moment.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to suggest.
That's good.
Really?
That works.
Okay.
All right, what are you thinking, John?
Well, here's what I was thinking. No, I wasn't thinking about discovering a G1 with Y2. I was thinking about either moving Y2 or the Y1 from A to B. Or,
I was thinking you were going to do that last turn.
yeah, so was
Oh,
I.
he needed more yellow before he did that, because otherwise he ruins A.
Or
Yeah, I
oh
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
see
Well,
what's
and I would say that we should probably not comment back too much, because this is a game where they're actually.
That's true. Yeah, I don't want any help.
No,
Um,
yeah, I didn't think that my comment really changed.
All right, time's up. I'm back.
All right. Well, I didn't say my other 4 things that I wanted to do, but
Do you actually want more time?
my
Yes,
other
go away again.
No, you're good. You're good. I'll just take my move. I was
All
thinking
right.
totally different here. Yeah.
Okay, how would either side get red chips somewhere? So in this case right now, because they didn't start with any red chips, the only way to get a red chip is to use the power of the blue trade. And then they would trade one of their existing ships for the same size in red.
You repaint it.
Lori gave away my stupid question. I said it silently to her. I was like, I know I'm being stupid here,
No,
but
because it's always possible someone else is having the same question. So it's
No,
always,
no stupid questions.
yeah,
Exactly.
All right.
yeah. It's only stupid if you
Oh.
don't ask questions.
Should I
Okay.
not put in what I thought he should have done? Now that he's made his move.
Oh, he moved.
Definitely make past comments, I think.
Well,
I like it.
Well, yeah, but if what he has been able to do, he's still able to do in the future.
It's
Yeah,
it's
he's
different
not.
now.
Now,
Yeah.
that's a John move right there.
That's
I
a
think
John move.
maybe there should be 2 separate chat lines, one where Andy and I don't see it, and other people can
yeah, it's,
discuss what they think.
I don't actually know how to make that happen. I only know how to speak to one person individually or the whole group.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, now
I meant-
my bet is completely not valid. So I thought he was going to do something different with that piece.
Right. Change it to a blue one.
Nope, a red.
The red.
Yep.
Wouldn't the blue
That was in
make
my
him
list.
have a monopoly?
That was in my list.
But then, yeah, true.
So
It'd
let's
be easy access to a blue monopoly with that blue one right now.
let's make a decision now. John and Andy, this is for you two to decide. Would you like us to shut up and let you play this game without people giving you ideas, or would you like this to be a discussion game?
Well, here's what I think. We could just turn our sound off, but keep our mics on so that we can talk to each other. Well, I mean, not hear each other, but talk,
Yeah.
say
Right.
what we're thinking, and other people can discuss things, to each other. I don't know. That's one idea.
I don't care. You guys can talk all you want, share all the thoughts you want. We can make it sort of hive mindy. Again, John and I have played 1,000 games of this game, and it's always fun. And there's no money on the line. It's just an exhibition game, and really, more than anything, this is for you, the viewers, who are trying to learn and get as much out of the experience of watching us as you can.
Yeah,
So
I think that's a great idea, Andy.
let's just
So-
open discussion.
I don't know if it would help the other newbie, but it might help me. If, for example, when Andy just made that move, I was like, wait, how could he do that? So Andy could explain why he could do the large yellow piece and put it,
Yeah.
at least for the
Announce- yeah,
first few
announcing-
moves.
Announcing what your move is out loud would be useful.
yeah, and kind of,
Signposting what you're doing would be helpful.
Right. So here's where John and I have been negatively reinforced for this experience right now, because John and I play every week on Zoom, kind of in the background while other people are doing things. So
Right.
we have our screens in the mix where everybody can see us in the game, but we can't have all of our conversations in a Facebook chat that only we see. So we're used to playing very quietly.
Right.
And what you want now is the opposite.
That's correct.
For us to blather on endlessly,
Yes.
droning on and on and on and on.
Yes.
Like just never shut up.
or you can have
about what
Lori
they're gonna do.
explaining, or you
Yes.
can have Lori explaining what he just did, you know, or somebody who knows the game, you
I think
know.
That's fine. That's fine. I think what I will like to do is to just play, take my turns, and I'll kind of stay out of it, and I will answer questions if asked specifically, but I'll let you guys talk and discuss what I'm doing and speculate as to why, and you can advise John all you want on what do you think you should do.
Okay. All right. Well, so to answer the question about how did he build that yellow ship? So he had at B, he had the power of building from the star, and he had the parts to build from the small yellow, and therefore he could build a yellow, and he had to build the smallest one that was available, and it just so happened that there was only one left, and that was the large.
Okay.
So
Have to build the smallest thing available in the bank. So if there had been a small and a large in the bank, he would have had to build the small first.
Okay.
If there was just a large in the bank, you can build the large.
So that was an important and interesting point in the game, because now the yellows are all gone in the bank. And so it's going to become, you know, a battle at this point to not put any back in the bank, because then the other person will grab it real quick. That kind of
Right.
thing.
Which is why I thought he was going to swap out a yellow last turn to keep, you know, that big yellow 3 come out of the bank this turn.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that would have been a good move.
And I would think red rather than blue, because even though the blue shutout, as Will was, you know, suggesting, is that Andy already had access to mediums that he could have swapped into blue if need be. That I think that to be protective, he was obviously trying to set up to invade and blow up your yellow at home. So I thought a red would have been a
Yeah,
makes sense.
making the red was in my list, but I
Mhm.
finally settled on putting up a yellow there, or putting the yellow into D.
Yeah.
I thought that hadn't worked. I mean, this is the way my brain was going.
Mhm.
I thought, oh, well, if he grows something in either of those places, I can move pieces into there and blow the whole thing up. But I didn't realize that takes a lot from me
Mhm.
to say blow up B, which is, I
Yeah.
would have to sacrifice my yellow 2 at A to move those 2 small pieces into B and then blow it up. But I've lost all those yellow pieces. So, you know, I was moving too quickly there.
Right. So John mentioned a sacrifice. For those that are newer, you have the option of sacrificing one of your pieces to get that many of that type of play anywhere on your board. So if John had sacrificed a yellow 2, he would have gotten 2 moves anywhere on his in his purview. You know, any of his ships could have moved 2 different ships, each one, or 1 ship twice.
So now I'm trading my Y1 at A for a B1.
Okay, and then, so that does a couple of things. One, it gets rid of the last of the small blues. And 2, it puts yellow back in the bank, but only a small yellow. So if a large yellow goes in there later, it won't be so easy to grab. So a lot of this game is about watching the bank. If you shop for pieces at the right times and you put pieces back at the right times, that's your best chance of winning. It's kind of surprising that we've gotten this far along with no red.
No, not really.
People.
In the new starting positions that they're playing, red is a latecomer. When they start with red in their homeworlds, it comes out earlier.
Yeah, but they've played like probably 20 moves.
Yeah, I'm saying if I've been watching them, you know, during COVID at the Zoom sessions when they've been playing every week. And when the change happened, you know, a year and a plus ago to these starting colors without red, I've noticed it'll go a very long time before red is brought into the game.
Yeah, they're working the economies as best they can to, you know, get an advantage. And Andy definitely got an advantage. So,
Well, I suppose I really should be living up to my name and getting a weapon. It makes sense that John, as the peaceful people, does not have a weapon. And I guess he's never going to during the course of the game with a name like that. Right, John? Right? That's a legally binding choice, right?
That's right. That's right.
All
I
right.
signed the paper.
So there's no hurry about getting into the red economy because John's never going to.
So John is playing peaceful homeworlds and you just didn't realize.
Well, just because John is a peaceful person doesn't mean that he won't defend himself.
Well, notice that I took my flower crown off.
Ooh.
so of course he's going to agree that he'll never build a red.
That's right. I don't even know what red chips are.
Oh, you mean these? Oh, these chips. Oh, well, you know.
These ruby chips.
Ruby chips, yeah. That's something different.
Rose color.
You mean the blastums? The boomsticks. Oh, yes, we have those.
Yeah.
Our peace comes from your destruction.
Okay, so let's see.
I was curious, how many moves out do you generally think ahead on this game?
That's a good question.
I'll let them answer, but I would guess that most people are maybe somewhere between 2 and 5 moves out.
So
I think very, very little ahead. I do
yeah.
not think far ahead. 1 or 2
I will-
moves at the most.
I would like to field this question. So I tend to be a gamer that likes to think really far ahead, maybe 5 moves, maybe even more. I got better at Homeworlds when I stopped trying to do that. The problem with Homeworlds, as opposed to say chess, is that because you're managing the bank as well as moving your pieces, and because there are so many options, I found that I was actually better off not planning ahead. Now, by not planning ahead, I don't mean I look at each color before I make a move. When I'm playing well, I look at each color in the bank, see what's available, and see what I can do with the piece that I can buy. So I'm looking at what can I do with yellow, what can I do with green, what can I do with red, what can I do with blue. and look at see what each of the options are. And then you do have to look kind of down the pathway to see what will happen on the next turn for what you do. But I found it was better to not try to plan too far ahead, wait and see what the other player does, and then reanalyze the board. And I think for me, the reason that was true is when I started planning ahead, I would sometimes miss a step. Like I'd say, okay, I'm going to do this and then this and then this. And I wouldn't notice something that someone else did in between my steps. And then what I was doing totally would make me lose because I wasn't reacting to the current position, but to some plan I had for a long game. So I think it's actually played best by simply analyzing each turn anew.
I could talk more about this because what I love about this is that it's a tactical game, not a strategic game. But John, I would like to offer you the second of your free undos. Do you really want to do that? Look at this board. Do you really want to do that build of a B2 right there?
Is that a
All right, here's a preview of what I will do if these shadows remain unchanged.
Yeah.
I will sacrifice this medium yellow to move.
Oh,
this
that's
blue
medium. I
from
thought it
here
was
to
large.
here and blow up this entire star and all the ships you have at A.
Yeah, Andy. Well, hold on. Yes, I would like an undo, but that's because I thought that was a large at D. Because
That's a medium at D.
yeah,
I have a large at B. I
because
have
of the
another way I
slight-
could blow that up and get another move too if I need one. There's just
Right.
all kind of badness associated with that action. I suggest you rethink your life.
No, the only reason I did that was because I thought that was a large at D, and I thought you wouldn't sacrifice it for that. But
I might have sacrificed a large just to blow that one up, but I don't even have to. So
Yeah.
second
So really,
undo.
really
that's
having
another-
3 of one color at any one star is a bad thing.
oh yeah,
Unless the other
Most of the
player
time.
can.
Yeah.
If Andy had no blue, it would be safe for John to build a blue ship there and have a blue star and 2 blue ships for a total of 3 blue items. But because Andy does have a blue and the power to move it 2 spaces in a turn, it's not safe for John. But if Andy had not swapped for that blue at home, then John could safely build a 3rd blue item at A.
yeah. And I was pressing it because I gotta see if I can see the pips on these things.
Yeah, normally you're able to see things clearly enough.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of gambling. Well, when things are closer, it's a slight foreshortening here. But but what was going on in my mind though, if that was a 3 at D, I was gambling against the chance that Andy wouldn't want to. He would decide against. He would think about it for sure, but I think he would decide against sacrificing the 3 yellow.
But Andy likes.
He's
to
a
blow
warlike
things up.
person.
Yeah,
Andy,
John, you're forgetting how much. John, you're playing the Andy in your head, not the Andy on the other side of the monitor. I
That's
love
right.
to blow stuff up. Never
Yeah.
forget that.
Okay.
No, but in John's defense, in the past, Andy, you've played the long game and you don't like to give up your large yellows early in the game.
Oh,
It's true.
especially.
So John is correct, but current Andy has gotten very warlike.
Ah, yes. I'm the warlike people right now.
What is that you're holding anyway?
This is a mace with triangular death points on it.
All right.
Pyramidal.
It hangs over my door, ready to be grabbed at any time it might be needed.
Those are his war pyramids on his
That's
name.
right. Yeah, they really are. I've had this since I was a teenager. I remember trading my brother Richard a batch of fudge for it.
Good deal.
It's really great. I don't know where he got it, but he had it. I was like, oh my God, I totally want that. And I negotiated to cook him a whole batch of fudge to have it. And yes, it's got these ice house pieces on the tips.
I think it's a shillelagh.
It's very I don't know.
Well,
It's
so
more
when
fun.
you traded your brother for it, Ice House did not exist. So you put those on later.
No, it had these.
Weird.
This was one of the many ice house piece inspirations.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, they really are just like ice house pieces, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty gosh darn close.
Anyway, this hangs over my door. You apparently don't pay enough attention to things in my room.
I made my
I've
move.
seen it before. I just
I love the rake.
building it.
Yeah, John's here to do some yard work after I.
Yeah, we're mostly farmers. Mostly just farm. We're just looking for other star systems.
I
to
love it.
farm.
You need Gina next to you right now to complete that
The American Gothic. Yeah.
I moved, Andy, so it's, yeah, a while back.
Well, you should be paying. You should definitely be making a noise more for that because it's harder for me to notice.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
that.
So
With
now,
this rake,
announce your moves more to me. That'll be good. All right.
So we know where he meant that to be, even though he didn't say what city, because there's only one place he could build a green, because there's only one place he had green parts, and that was at A.
green ship.
I don't think of them as parts. I think them as design plans. Like
Well-
you have to have the plans for the color ship you need to build, in addition to having the green power.
But you could have plans on any ship.
But
I-
I
Doesn't
just
Andy
feel like
have-
you're scrounging the parts from the star system, from the asteroid belt or whatever. But yeah, I've always explained it as you can't build a ship that you don't have the plans for. You have to have
I'm
something to
just
copy.
using the words Andy has used before.
I'm thinking
You
of
have an example right in front of you.
Of what?
I think of them as
Of the ship you're going to build.
themselves.
Right.
To build it, you have an example right next to you.
Correct. You're copying something because you have it, not because you're taking parts from it.
Yeah, I always say that you have to have one to reverse engineer to have one to make a copy of what you have.
In my mind, with the theme that I had when I made it, is that these ships are I mean the game is abstract, and the ships here represent fleets of ships of different technological levels, and so a yellow one is a fleet of ships that's very good at engineering, and it's like a whole culture kind of that's there, and when they build something, they're concentrating on engineering, and so that's what they're going to build.
That's fair.
Works for me.
That's what they know how to build.
Yeah.
Or you can say they're like AI ships, and they're kind of living.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That explains a lot about the way John plays.
Shut up.
I was just thinking with John's like rake, and him being the peaceful, people, that we could rename his planet, knowing as the possible outcome, call it Alderaan as a peaceful planet.
Right.
And maybe it gets blown up. We'll see.
Well, it's true that they have no weapons.
They have no weapons.
Yeah, but neither do you, Mr. War.
I got one right here. We just haven't built any real big ones.
He's hiding it.
Well,
Because
if that's the kind of technology that the warlike people have, I think the peaceful people are okay.
I'd like to say that shillelagh is completely inappropriate for Andy because
These are ceremonial.
if you carry a big stick, it is required that you talk softly.
All right.
Possible.
I'll go back to my sword. Oh, look at this. John's doing something.
Yeah, this game might be very short at this point
Okay, here comes our first sacrifice.
because I'm making a move.
So he's sacrificing a two-sized yellow, so he gets two moves. And he's moving both a yellow and a green to B.
And declaring.
No declare.
No declare. Whoa.
No, Y1 and a G1.
Oh, G1. Oh, I thought I
No,
misunderstood that.
John is up to something.
So typically, you wouldn't do that because if the other person had any red at all, they would use it to capture those two ships. But since there is no red in sight, nobody can do anything about that. So it's okay to have ships of both
Factions.
I guess, at the same planet.
Yeah, I actually think that the peaceful people and the warlike people evolved on the same planet, and they've diverged, and now they're at odds with each other.
Oh yeah, that's why we're wearing the same t-shirts.
I love Jose Maria says that he imagines Andy's people are outside the ship with the club hitting John's ships. That's great.
So the thing about moving two ships in of the same size, Lauren, like if you're at a red, like if it was to a red planet, you wouldn't worry so much because if you're like behind, if they capture, you can capture it right back. You can kind of undo their turn, which I've been having a debate with Babamoth on, like if there should be a co-rule, like in Go, try to prevent, like the just tug of war until you have a stalemate,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I debated that for a while.
Yeah, we've talked about that endlessly, actually.
Yeah, about not having the same game state at different times in the game and keeping from doing that, different rules to keep from doing that. But ultimately, I decided to just go with the simple, well, we could start another game. Let's just call this one stalemate.
It doesn't happen. It happens surprisingly infrequently, actually.
Yeah, that's part of the thing. It really doesn't come up very often.
That's what,
Yeah, I think it came up more often when I was like an intermediate player. Like in the when you're a beginner, you don't even always notice it, and when you're an advanced player, you think ahead enough that you don't end up in that position very often. Because like you look, well, if I do that, it doesn't go anywhere. So yeah, I just find it doesn't happen very often now.
I mean, okay, go ahead.
Oh no, you go.
Oh, the way I think of it is, you can also plan for a co, and if I'm not doing well in a game, that's my way out, is to make it a stalemate. And it's worked a couple times, but I always have that in mind. So I just work it into my strategies.
Good. Because I've been kind of building, like, I've been using one of my games as an example to kind of, really highlight the co-effect, where I've come to a position where I've in the tournament, I've won one of the two games against Leilana. And then the second game, I know that if we're the two stronger players in this bracket, if I tie with her, I'm likely to win my other games and then come out victorious in the long run. Mm-hmm. So I keep putting into positions where it's like, here's two ships. She steals one, I steal it back. She steals it, I steal it back. It's like, okay, you have to do something else, And so I know, like, if I move two ships in and a red, star ability, that I can kind of know. Go ahead, stalemate us. That's fine with me. And she has to, more costly to her, to use other ships to capture multiple as I'm growing and getting more and stealing it back and making it very. It's not the funnest game, I'll admit, but I'm trying to also kind of make a point, with it. So you'll get to see, or you can watch what's happened so far in it. Wanted to, but and
that's basically the same thing John was saying. That's how he uses the strategy.
Yeah.
So all of that is academic. The actual issue at hand is quite interesting. Yeah. I've got a lot of options, and I don't know what I should do. So look at my side, y'all, and I'm not asking for help, but I'm saying this is a very interesting and tough choice right now that I'm facing. So it's a good situation to ponder.
Well, so you've got a lot of options. What do you see as options?
I've given you too many options.
I have a lot of options.
Wait,
So
first outline, we're all talking about the situation at B, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure
Well-
everyone knows what we're talking about.
the situation at B is the urgent one because now he could freely move this up to here and blow up my large one and another one at not as much of a devastating cost as he had earlier.
There's also yellow in the bank, which could be built there.
There's yellow in the bank that I'm worried about him either building as a way of blowing me up or building back at home. Now, if he did that, I could just bluebird him on the next turn. So that would be a disaster. But he could build it here and maybe get away with it because I've got stuff here to deal with, or he could build it here and blow me up. But I don't like that being in the bank.
I don't think he would build it at D.
What?
I don't think he would build it at D because you would then do the same thing with your small yellow at B.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't. But that's just one of the many things on the table. Another I'm thinking about is maybe now is the time to get a weapon. Because if I got a gun, then I have the drop on him. He'd have to either get a gun himself immediately or retreat because of the gun I'm going to use. But if I just get a gun, then that's leaving this yellow situation still open to destruction. So that's no good. Unless the way I get the weapon takes this equation and also changes it. So what I'm thinking about doing is sacrificing my medium blue to change one of these yellows to a red and something else because I have two things.
John, are we open to talk about the entirety of this move and game?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, we decided that already.
Okay, Andy, I think you're being myopic.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I'm just kind of trying to go through all the options right now.
There's more danger afoot.
Yeah.
There's more danger for me.
Well, that's why I specifically said, are you talking about B? Because there's other stuff going on right now.
Yeah. Well, one other thing is that he's got enough green to drive into my home and blow up all my greens, but that would be too.
But he doesn't have enough yellow to do that and
can't
still
do
have
that,
something
yeah.
at home.
Yeah, because he only has one yellow at home, so he can't
Right.
do that. He would
That's
leave his
true.
homeworld unprotected if he did that now.
He
But
could-
that is dangerous.
That's
He
not
could
true.
do it as a stalemate maneuver and kill them both.
Yeah,
No, but it wouldn't kill me because I'd still have a ship at home.
right.
Not if you sacrificed it.
Not if you sacrificed it.
Yeah, they're saying you might get bluebirded, Andy.
Oh, if I do that, then well, it depends on what I do with the moves.
Yeah.
Because one thing, like I said, I'm
Wait. You need to. You've used the term bluebird several times now.
I know.
I'm not sure that everybody knows what that means.
Yes, I know, but I didn't want to. Anyway, okay. So bluebird is when you only have one color in your homeworld, such as John has now, or such as Andy would have if he sacrificed his blue. And then that leaves you really open to somebody moving those colors in and sacrificing, catastropheing because there's 4 of them. So it's harder with John because he's only got 1 yellow. So Andy would have to move 3 yellows in. With Andy, if he had only the 2 greens there, John is close to being able to move 2 greens in and call that catastrophe.
But if Andy sacrificed the blue, couldn't he switch one of the greens at his homeworld?
Yes.
He could. That's why. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that like I said, if I sacrifice this for 2 color changes and made one of these red, I still have another one. And what I might well do with it is change this one to the blue, getting me out of that change.
Because that way it doesn't take him out of the red. It keeps him in the blue economy while also putting him in the red economy.
Now, here's another thing I find attractive, and that's to move my big yellow up to his A. that defuses this whole blowing up my yellow. It's still that this is in danger, but it's not that big a deal. And it gets me a lot more yellow on his doorstep, which I like since the only thing he has at home is yellow. There's a lot to like about that move.
That's the move I've been looking at the whole time. John, is nobody going to mention the elephant in the room?
I'm
There's,
not.
there's an elephant.
Oh
There's an
yeah.
elephant in the room that
I
John.
have
not
a
gonna-
sign on my
I'm not
door
gonna
that
mention the
says
elephant.
absolutely no elephants.
I'm not going to mention any elephant.
I'm not. I wasn't going to
Let's
mention
let
it.
John let it go.
I'd love to know what Will means by the elephant.
Yeah,
I
me
mean-
too. So you're saying John has something that could hurt Andy that we're not seeing?
The magician has something up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm pretty sure Will sees what it is.
I don't think Will should say it yet. I want to see what Andy does.
okay.
Because, okay, so part of the entertainment of watching Andy and John play is while Andy wins more than half the games, John is constantly doing surprising stuff that you don't see coming.
Yeah, and
And
that
so that's
that I
part of what
can't
I
follow
think would be
through on.
entertaining here is to see what Andy does and then see what John had up his sleeve.
right. And sometimes what I have up my sleeve is
It doesn't work, yes, I
Yeah,
know.
it's a-
But when
it's a
it
dove
works,
that
it's
explodes.
spectacular. And when it doesn't work, you lose. But it's always entertaining to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is what I mean when I say, Will, you're still very much in the game. If you're seeing, I don't know what magic trick you've got that you're referring to, but
Well, I don't know if Will is thinking what I'm thinking, but I'll ask him after this.
So I say, Andy, make a move, and then we'll retro analyze it.
all right. Well, I'm not even done talking about the things
Oh, all right. What else you got?
because like one of the other things about this is that if I do this, things I don't like about that is that it doesn't block the yellow. It leaves this yellow here for him to do something with. And a thought would be to squonk it because I could sacrifice this to make a move and thus put this into the bank and prevent further growth of that medium yellow. But I still don't think that's
So,
what
as-
you're magically talking about. So then knowing Will, I think, well, maybe he's talking about some sort of shopping spree sort of situation, but it's not good for that. I mean, I guess I could just factory. That's a good point. I could factory and grow the medium green here and the medium yellow like here, but that still doesn't defuse this time bomb. So I don't like that.
Wait. Does everyone, show of hands, does everyone know what factory is?
No, and you talked about squonk too, and
Yeah, Andy, I think you need to further elaborate on what
Oh,
factory.
thank you,
Squonk-
Heather.
So let's just do a little bit of talking here. So squonking is wasting a piece on purpose in order to make something happen. So when he talked
It's a
about
combination of squander and block. Squonk. So I squander a piece to get a power I don't really need in order to have that piece go into the bank and block things there. So that's what a squonk is.
and then
And factory.
factory is when you have a large green and there is little or no green in the bank. Then when you sacrifice that green, if you have another green in that same spot like he does right now, you can just turn right around and build it again. So if he sacrificed for 3 builds, his first build would be that medium green that's there. His second build would be to get that large green back right where it was. And then he would have one more build.
So
How's your brain doing, Heather?
She's absorbing. Leave her alone. All right, Andy, finish off. What else did you want to think about?
Hang on, Pinky had a question.
Well, I know what I would do, but yeah, I would go surrender. No.
It hasn't come to that.
I'm about to do that.
I think
talk.
he was raising his
Wait,
hand to say that he
I'll
just
stop
like-
talking for just a second. Pinky's trying to say something.
Oh, yeah, it's with a factory. So I'm clear, you have to have another green at the start because once your green goes into the bank, you no longer have the power of growth. Is that
That
correct?
is absolutely correct.
Thank
The
you.
factory
Alright,
needs
Andy,
a
what else?
large green at a star with another green ship and not many other greens in the bank.
Okay.
No, I would have probably done something that would have given me multiple moves. So I probably would have sacrificed a piece somewhere. It's just a matter of where.
Pinky, normally a factory would have one green ship with your big green ship. When you destroy it, you could grow it right back where it is. But it can also, if you don't have that green there, it can arrive somewhere else where you have the other green.
Got it. Thanks.
Usually it's going to be at home because that's where the factory usually is. And usually you don't have another large ship at home. So you always want to build that large green back where it was. But absolutely, there can be situations where you either don't want to or can't build it back where it was. You can still use those 3 builds and build it somewhere else. But it has to be a legal build. You have to have a green template somewhere where you want to build it. You can't just magically drop a green ship somewhere that doesn't already have green ships. But you don't need the power of green. If it was a different color, it's kind of a different situation.
Okay. I think that's a mistake I've been making.
That was definitely a mistake I made a lot early on. That's why it's useful to play the game this way where you can ask questions.
So what are you gonna do, Andy?
We lost Andy. He was what
Oh,
else did you want to tell us?
I'm here. I'm just trying to look at the board from John's side to try to figure out what Will is talking about.
Oh, I've gotten into your head now.
Red herring.
See, actually, there was nothing there, and John set it up with Will beforehand to just mess with him.
I was just going to say that, Lori. I was just going to say there's actually nothing, but
Just
The
to,
elephant
you know,
in the
mess
room
with
is I'm about to resign. Not really.
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
I just don't know what to do. I'm absolutely gripped with indecision.
There's a lot of options. You're right.
I know.
It's like before when I had 5 things that I wanted to do, but I could only do one. And
And then you
I
did the wrong-
definitely have a favorite of the choices that you've done so far because they avoid the elephant that you can't see.
well, the other thing that I wanted to say is I once went to a lecture from Rainer Knizia. It's a really good game designer, very prolific. And one thing that he said is a good game has turns where you want to do a whole bunch of things, but you can only do 1 or 2. And
Yep.
I think that this game has that a lot of times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what I think of as like the mark of a good game is when you are frequently confronted with very difficult choices you have to make.
Yeah.
And I got a real difficult choice right now, and I'm often faced with difficult choices in Homeworlds.
Well, you know, John could always offer you a free undo, Andy, if you don't like how it goes.
Yeah, that seems fair.
But his move
not to
looks
John.
good,
All right, I like this. I'm gonna do that. I'm tired of overthinking it.
All right.
What should I have done, Will? What was I not
Wait,
saying?
wait, no. What is John doing in response?
Let's see his move. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to see what John does, and then Will can reveal his.
Is what if he thought that was it. Yeah.
All right.
I do want to say of all the moves that you offered, this was my favorite one.
Okay.
Yep. This is good.
So did that thwart John in doing the elephant?
It thwarts the elephant.
All right. Like
Well,
So the elephant's still in the room.
That's
He's
why I
not
said
nearly
hold
as
on
useful
until John
as
makes
he used
his
to
move.
be.
Well, yeah, that's my point. I might still use the elephant.
Right.
All right, let's see it.
Well, not yet.
I
He's
hope
not ready yet.
I just hope that we get a new strategy out of this that we can call the elephant.
Hey, you know, Andy thought for a long time before his move, so now I'm going to take my 5 minutes.
No, John, you need to hurry up. You need
That's
to make a
totally fair,
different
John.
choice.
You know what? I haven't had
taking so long, John. Come on.
I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm gonna go get some breakfast. John, you have until I get back to think about your move.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, I may also be off screen, but I'm here.
And Andy didn't take 5 minutes, he took 19.
Is Leila going to get breakfast and I'm going to think about this? Okay, good. Good. Straight up.
Lori, there is no fairness doctrine in Homeworlds.
Sadly, there's no fairness doctrine in America anymore.
Oh, never mind.
We really need that.
Well, we like to practice civility if we can. When we can.
Hurry up, John. Come on. Jeez.
Wait,
I am quite interested in this elephant.
Oh my God, John, wouldn't it have been good if Andy didn't make this move?
and he made another move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be so great.
It'd have been so great.
Also, let's
Yeah, what if he had done
whenever you two decide that the elephant has left the room, we should back it up and go the other way.
Yeah, or that we
Take a picture. Take a picture, Lori, of the place we were last move.
Yeah, we'll do. Okay.
Yeah, let me do that too.
Take your screenshots now.
Say cheese.
All right. And now with my move in place.
Andy, your Bluetooth wasn't smiling. Can we do it again?
We should do it again because the coin is in the wrong spot.
Okay.
Yeah, do it again.
That's a better screenshot.
Oh, you're right. Hold on. Let me get that.
Everyone's got to be in the picture.
The coin placement is very important, actually. So yes, if you're taking the picture for that, take it again. All right, here we go. John, hurry up and move.
Wait, is Layla back?
I am. It turns out I don't have to make my own breakfast. I have someone to do that for me.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Will and I may have two different elephants, but here's mine.
Okay,
I'm just going to try it anyhow. It's probably going to ruin the game for me
but it'll be fun.
because there are ways out of it, but Andy won't expect it. So here it comes. Hold on a second. Let me write it down for Andy.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
You're just delaying for effect.
No,
Attention.
no, he's not. He just types slow. Give the poor boy a chance.
Anticipation.
It's a big move.
It requires 4 lines of typing.
It's
For
got,
some of us, that takes a while.
okay, so he's doing another sacrifice. His Y3 at home, interesting, because that leaves him with nothing at home, but that's okay.
If only he sacrificed his blue, blue too, right?
No.
Yeah.
So he can leave his homeworld so long as by the end of the turn he's got something there again. He's sacrificing his Y3 for 3 moves. He's moving the G1.
Stray letter B in your code here, John.
Yeah, but it's the
syntax
only-
error.
The
Syntax
only way
error.
in with the 3 moves
So he's moving the G1 and the B1 at
from B.
so the G1 and the Y1, sorry, from B. So he's moving both of those into Andy's homeworld, and then he's also moving
It
the
should be a
B2 to
G.
John in order to bring something back home before the
Did I
the
say
B2.
B2? I said B2, but I meant B1. Sorry.
Oh,
All right,
blue-
you got all kinds of errors in your statement, but I got it.
okay. So now let's look at what's going on here. There are 3 greens in Andy's homeworld, 1 more, and there's a catastrophe. John has nothing but a small in his homeworld, which would be very scary, except for there's no red in this game, so there's no capturing to be done.
And all of Andy's yellow front line has nothing to bluebird anymore.
Right.
This is one of John's favorite things is to have a single small ship at home when he wins the game.
Very efficient.
Yeah, if that's how I view it too. If I have a whole bunch of ships at the end, it's like I wasted moves. I should have been over before then.
Right.
Wow.
So, Will, I'm guessing this was not the play you thought John was going to make.
Right.
Will had a different elephant.
So we were
Come
actually
back to that elephant later.
feeling different elephants with our blind.
Right.
Yeah.
Space is big.
Space is big. That's a great quote. Thank you.
Space is big, really big.
Gee, Willikers.
You won't believe how vastly, hugely enormous it really is. I mean, you think it's a long way down the street to the chemist's, but that's just peanuts to space. Listen.
All right, you have reduced Andy to muttering to himself.
I'm just speaking in quotes. Well, this is a fine pickle you've gotten me into, John.
I like
Obviously, this
pickles.
is my first time watching this, but I have a feeling a few of these games have come to Andy muttering to himself at that point.
This is the type of game I love to watch, John. This is my favorite, to watch you play this way, because I love to do it as much as I can in my games. Like just
Great.
arrive.
Yeah, to Andy, if we were playing at his place, I would say right now that I'm setting up an embassy there.
Oh God, you and your embassy. That's what this is. It's not an elephant, it's an embassy.
That's the embassy.
That is a strategy.
All right, John's trademark move is the embassy maneuver, where he sends ships into Andy's homeworld before you can figure out. So normally when Andy moves ships in, it's when he's got his whole doomsday machine in place and he's going to win the game in 2 moves. But when John sends ships in, you just don't know what he's up to.
Well, my idea of an embassy is when you can get like one small ship in and then just leave it there for several turns because the other player has too many other things they have to deal with.
And then they forget about it, and then you can have a coup de grace.
Oh, Andy never forgets about it. It hurts him. It's an itch he can't scratch right
I'm
now.
like an elephant. I never forget.
And this is what I meant earlier when I said that John likes to get up in your face.
He does. And I like to get a weapon.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out that these really are never embassies. Like in real embassies, most of the advisors are actually spies.
Right.
In other words, it's an EMB capital ASSY.
All right, so just to make sure that we all understand what happened there, because he has the power of blue, the trade power, he traded his large yellow for a large red. He is now the only one that has the ability to capture ships.
Andy, move the coin.
Thank you.
And that was my bet of your move, Andy. That's what I wagered you would do.
Hey, this is just an exhibition game. No wagering.
Yeah.
Wait, so you thought he was going to move the coin?
Well, absolutely.
It
That
does
is
make sense. I usually do move the coin.
Only question was where was he gonna get his red, or which red was he gonna take? It wasn't. I think it was just yeah. I agree.
I'm not sure why he didn't do the yellow and move the A into a red.
I'm sorry, Jim, I couldn't quite hear you.
I was wondering why he didn't, if he was going for a large red, why did he not do it at A?
Because I had to take away the possibility of having my big green blown up by changing it to a different color.
Right, because there were 3 greens in his homeworld and John could have built a 4th green and called catastrophe.
You would have done it too.
Okay.
John totally would have done that. That's a John maneuver.
You would have sacrificed a green and done it and more. He would have then put more yellow. And a nice sized yellow at that.
I heard a new voice, and then I had to look around to find out who that was, and it looks like Heather's gambit of learning Homeworlds to beat the other people in her house is being swamped.
Yeah, my husband got home from the grocery store.
Oh, you found out you were cheating on it with Homeworlds, huh?
He went, so we went from having a beginner to having a high moderate person watching.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
AB beginner stage 2.
Send him out on an errand.
Yeah, exactly.
Needs to walk the dog or something.
No. The more the merrier.
Yeah, but now she can't learn all of our secrets and use them to her advantage against him in their next game.
Yeah, but I have to demo this starting next weekend. So
Oh, where are you demoing?
Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. Heather owns a shop there, and Homeworlds is on my side of the shop. I'm just.
Well, this is great. When you're playing Homeworlds in that situation, you want to think of the stars as islands and the starships as regular ships.
Yes. Yeah, that is what
Yes.
we do. Because, in the Renaissance, there were no starships and all of that. So, yes.
Andy has a set of wooden solid pyramids that we use when we go to the Maryland Renaissance Festival.
Oh.
Well-
Except for Time Travelers Weekend. Then we can do as many starships as we want. And the blue one are somehow TARDISes, I think, but I'm not sure.
Absolutely.
Here's my my Renaissance Homeworld set. Leather bag with beautifully painted wooden pyramids.
Oh,
Yes, but-
nice.
But
Very nice.
unfortunately, those do not exist for sale.
Yes.
But it's fine for me because I have a set.
Well, come join us. You're not that far away, I believe.
Which Renaissance Festival is it?
Pennsylvania. It's in.
Oh yeah, we've been to that one before. Yeah, we've been to it. But I don't know that we're gonna do many this year. We're still kind of skittish and staying inside a lot,
Yeah. Yeah,
under my doctor's advice.
Yeah, sorry, it's still COVID orders.
that Delta variant is being nasty.
Of course, I'm fully vaxxed and all, but I'm still just
When
worried.
children are vaccinated, it will be better. But right now, there's just too many unvaccinated people out there, most of whom are under the age of 12.
Yeah.
I'm a teacher, I understand. High school level, but I understand.
All right, John, you got to move yet? Oh,
Yeah.
there it is.
Oops,
Yeah,
there it is.
I'm about to lose, but we'll
Gonna
we'll
go
have the
out in a
fire.
blaze of glory. All right, he's stacking the G2 to build a G2 and a Y2 at my
Hang on just a second. Can you back that up? Jonathan just got here and he's going to want to see this.
All right. Well,
I'm
Oh
sorry.
man,
Hey, Jonathan, it's good to see you.
what is going on?
So we've been at this weird point in the game where a couple turns back, Will was saying that there was an elephant in the room that Andy wasn't seeing, and Andy agonized over what it was and gave up trying to figure it out. And then Andy moved that yellow 3 up into A, and that sort of ended whatever that elephant in the room move was going to be, but John is still doing part of it where he has moved his folks into Andy's homeworld. Andy replied by trading his large yellow at home for a large red. He's the only one with red. And now
Yeah.
John is about to
Oh man.
another sacrifice move.
all right. Hi, Jonathan. All right, so he's sacrificing his G2 to build a G2 and a Y2. He's massively expanding his dang
That's
embassy.
my embassy compound now. Yes.
Embassy compound, yeah. But that's fine. That's fine. You do that, John. That's okay with me because I'm going to do this.
Uh-oh.
Well, and I just sent you the moves up till now. You can put it into the sandbox.
I'm just going to say hi and visit you at your homeworld, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a problem because
That's
as
a problem.
mentioned, John
That's a problem.
red. It's
Well, we must remember when there was the elephant in the room, John said he was just about to resign. We just didn't know it
Yeah,
would be
but so
35 minutes and 2 moves later.
well,
right.
let's talk about, for those who are newer, let's talk about what
just happened?
what just happened is Andy moved his large yellow in, and because he's got that large red back there, he can attack as many as, or he can capture as many as 3 ships in John's homeworld. So the only way that John can get out of this is either to get rid of that yellow in his homeworld or to have at least 4 ships there, which I don't think he can pull off.
I can't.
And this is what is known as the whole who shot John in the foot.
I think it was John. John did it.
Yeah.
Fair,
I need an explanation.
Sorry, what?
I need an explanation.
Okay, go for it. What do you,
With the red at Andy's homeworld, why can he attack at John's homeworld? I thought you had to
You'd have to
attack at the same star.
it would be a sacrifice move. He would sacrifice the red for 3 captures anywhere in space where he has a ship.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I got no way out of this.
Clear what on your turn, you do one thing. You can move a single ship, you can sacrifice any particular piece you have anywhere on the board and gain and put it back in the bank and get those moves. So if you sacrifice a size 2 yellow, you put it in the bank and you get 2 moves with ships, any of your ships anywhere on the board, including moving 1 ship 2 spaces or 2 ships each 1 space. If you sacrifice a size 3 red, you put it back in the bank, but you get 3 attacks anywhere you have ships on the board.
So this is also, I don't mean to pick on you, John. You said that you were playing around and I know that I'm not saying
Here it comes. Here it comes. All right.
When you start out with this many caveats.
Oh yeah, here it comes.
I'm just saying that this is a good example of the thing that both
How stupid John is.
both John and Andy say enough that it's in the rules, which is
Always keep a large ship at your homeworld.
well, that's one thing, but that's not the one I was going to say. The thing I was going to say is when someone
If you
gets
get a gun, also get a gun.
yes, if someone goes red, you should immediately try to get red yourself.
But
No,
John's a peaceful people.
Yeah, he still should have blushed.
Because red shirts are expendable.
Right.
They decided
So-
that their planet was dying anyway, and they're just migrating into Andy's world.
Andy, can we back up a couple turns?
Yes.
I had
Okay.
just a couple. Just back up your turn. Back up my turn.
You need that visual of what it looked like before?
No,
I think
I had this different idea. Now back up my turn too. Which is I sacrificed my green, so put my green 2 back there. And yeah, I think that's about where we were.
Yep.
That looks right to me.
So what
Alright.
if instead, oh, that's where that blue is not available. Oh, that's why I didn't, okay, never mind.
So yeah, there's 2 problems at once that John has. One is that he's only got a small at home, and the other is that he doesn't have red. So he can fix one of those problems, but I don't think he can fix the other one.
I'd like to point out those are not the only 2 problems John has.
Yeah, that's, thank you, Will. Thank you.
Hey, Will, are you talking within the scope of the game, or are you talking about extracurricular knowledge?
Isn't it all within the scope of the game?
I think the answer is yes there.
Right, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I think you're still doomed here. So what we want to do is go back to that earlier point So somebody who screenshotted it needs to, I should have screenshotted it myself, but it,
Yeah, you should have.
I'll share my screen.
all right, share your screen, please.
So Jonathan Baker didn't see it, and Layla thought she saw my elephant in the room.
So this,
And it appears John did well. The move was taken away, so John may or may not have had the elephant in the room that I see.
so this setup that Andy is bringing back is, I think, 4 or 5 moves back. And
Or 45 minutes, depending on how you count.
so Will was saying that there was an elephant in the room there. Andy was worried about a yellow showing up in B and catastrophe. He was also worried about, he was thinking about changing colors, like sacrificing that 2 blue in order to do some things. We talked about what if he didn't change a color in his homeworld, he might get bluebirded. And in the end, Andy decided to move the Y3 to A. And that was the move that Will and John didn't want him to do for whatever this elephant in the room was that Andy doesn't see. So now, Andy, are you done?
Yeah, I call the game reconstituted.
Okay. So here we are, and Andy is not going to move his Y3 to A. He's going to do some other move.
Right.
All right, so
So the Y3 move was the best move, but now we want to see what would happen if he had done something else.
right, so now what I will do is the thing that I was thinking about doing where I change some colors. So let's see what happens if I sacrifice my medium blue to change my medium green to blue and change my large yellow to large red.
Okay, so now Will, the elephant that you,
Do I do the large or do I do the small? Because if I do the large, he could sacrifice this to grow both of those yellows, including another red, another there. So I think instead, I don't want to do the large. I want to do the small.
okay.
Wait,
All
and
right.
isn't that backwards? He can still do the yellow maneuver, and then he would destroy your large yellow, but then you'd still have red. Okay, maybe. Okay.
No, I mean, in this case, if I really wanted to do a catastrophe there, I would do a catastrophe with green, sacrificing my green 2 and growing 2 more green ships and
Right.
destroying that whole system.
Wait,
Oh,
The elephant.
That's the elephant.
That's the
That's the elephant.
Okay.
Is he can either grow 2 yellows or 2 green.
Right. You sacrifice this.
No, the green kills the whole system.
You are right. I was not seeing that. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
That's quite a good elephant.
I was considering that, Will, but
Yeah.
I was going for the
Green
glory.
destroys the
And
star,
that's
where
bad.
the yellow would just take away the yellow ships.
Say that again?
Yes.
The
with a
yellow,
star-
if he made them yellow, it would just destroy the yellow ships, leaving Andy with a red.
Right.
Does green, one of the 4 destroyed is the star, which wipes out everything.
So my
Correct.
my suggestion would be to use your 2 color changes to change the colors of both ships in that system.
Well, I do not know why I couldn't see that.
Well, if he does that, then he's being left for that bluebird move we talked about earlier.
Except that John can't get enough ships there. It'll
No,
take-
yeah, he can, because he sacrifices, that's what we were before. He sacrifices the A, it goes into the bank, gives him 2 greens to blow up B.
Yeah. Yeah. I do not know why I didn't see that. Yeah, that's a great move. And yeah, that is a scary ass elephant.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
as
that
soon
was
as,
your moved the yellow forward, completely avoided it.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's
that-
the move.
I was just shocked that nobody was bringing that one up.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
John, did you have another elephant or was that the one?
No, he
my
meant his
elephant
big
was-
yellow
I-
elephant.
No, I did have that in mind, but I didn't consider that an elephant. I thought everybody would see that.
I was really not seeing that. Despite all the time I tried to figure out what you were talking about, I couldn't figure it out. I just had a total blind spot on that one.
Personally, I was hoping to drive into Andy's homeworld after he hopefully left everything of one color in his homeworld.
Right, a bluebird. Yeah, I'm known for making that mistake, but I think I've learned at this point not to leave myself open to it.
Yeah.
I don't think you have actually, but
Too hush.
Lori on this one.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes you have blind spots. You just don't see things, as evidenced by this whole elephant thing that we were talking about.
Yeah, I was saying you're myopic, but I also think it's quite interesting that John calls your homeworld a drive-in.
Well,
so hang on a minute though. Andy, I believe that you have adjusted the board in ways that aren't right.
You're probably
That
right.
small yellow should be a small red.
no, I just took it back. Now I see what it was.
Oh, you're using that as your undo. Okay.
Well, I mean, I wasn't really thinking we were going to play this out.
Oh no, we're not playing this out. We're just
we're
I
not.
just
yeah.
wanted to back it up to see what the elephant was.
All right,
yeah,
I
we're
got
just
you.
discussing.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So this is just reset to that stage right before anything bad happens.
So Will, I guess you're right that really was an elephant because Andy didn't know about it. He really did. I thought he
couldn't
knew about
see
it the whole time.
I was just not thinking of
If
that.
he had seen it, he would have said so. That's
Yeah.
my.
Yeah, we
I
had a whole
explained all
long
the things I
conversation
thought I
at
was
the
thinking
time.
about.
We had a 19-minute pause while Andy was analyzing his moves. I promise you, if he had seen it, he would have said so.
Well,
No,
so-
you're absolutely right. I did not see it. I could not see it. I was blind to that elephant.
So from a learning to play the game standpoint, I will tell you this. Almost always the things that you don't see have to do with sacrifices.
Yeah.
Yep. Very true. They're harder to see. Well, it was a ninja elephant. Yes.
All
All
right.
right. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed this little sparring match between me and my good buddy John Cooper.
Absolutely.
You have anything
Okay,
else you want to say?
now I've just got this picture in my head of the elephant all dressed in black with the,
Ninja elephant.
Yeah. It's especially effective at night.
Well, how else could that get in the house?
Exactly. I've got a sign on the door that he's flagrantly violating. All right.
It was the elephant of surprise.
Yes, it was.
Elephant of surprise. That's good.
Well, you know,
It was a
anything
great game of
unrelated to elephant,
discussion.
your elephant.
let's see, do we have any questions of any kind before we call this a day? No, we're good?
I have sort of a question about strategy.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I've been playing it, it seems to me like as you progress through the game and get later in the game, maybe this is just because I'm a beginner, but it seems that the blue pieces become less useful.
All the colors have their place.
Yeah.
And blue is very important at times. Each color has its importance at times. And under the right circumstances, blue can be absolutely vital and you can win or lose the game by not having it. But in a lot of the time, it is the least useful of the four.
Okay, that's what I suspected.
Yeah.
For most styles.
Blue is my favorite Monopoly and the one I use often, but once all the blue pieces are gone off the board, yeah, they do become fairly useless.
Yeah.
Okay,
Depending on what color the enemy star, homeworld stars are, of course.
Yeah.
so I'm going to comment one thing about this current topic. Then Jose Maria has a question, and then I see you back there, Jim. So the comment on this topic is that also because of that, Will, amongst other people, is known for monopolizing the blue because people tend to hold off on getting it because it's not that important or whatever, you know. And so when I have seen freeze outs where you keep someone from getting a color at all, it's usually been with blue.
Yeah, blue isn't all that important unless you don't have any and the other guy has all of it. Then woe unto you.
Yeah.
I don't care what color I freeze out with. I'll take any one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so then next question about trying to get onto Super Duper Games.
Wait, before you go on, I wanted to add in my own 2 cents. When I first built this game, I called it Ice Traders, and the blue pieces were the ice traders, and I did think of them as sort of underdogs, but you know, there are games where they become extremely important to the game.
Yep.
And so at least they're not always unimportant.
Also, I mean, it also depends on if someone has blue as part of their binary homeworld, you're going to need, unless you're going to destroy every ship in their homeworld and win that way, you have to destroy both halves of their homeworld. You're going to need blue to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I personally like to take out their blue star earlier, because then they're like crippled on like, how do I get to the ship I need to get to? I have to go out, switch, come back. It gives them a headache.
Yeah.
Now, but if they don't have blue as part of their home star, then maybe you can get away without blue. But if they do, I don't think you can.
They have to have blue ships there almost like consistently. If they're always shipping things out, you know, they don't have a huge fleet at home other than being bluebirded, you know. They have no blue there.
Okay. So on this Super Duper Games front, Steve, you did apply recently. You had no problems, or did you have problems and then it worked?
I don't recall having any problems at all, and it wasn't super recent though. I mean, but it was in anticipation of this last tournament, so it wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
Yes. I was just going to throw in, Super Duper Games is not managed very actively, so if you do have trouble, it may be hard to get a hold of Aaron and get help.
Well, and that's in response to this last thing that Jose Maria said about the admin email doesn't exist. That's because Aaron stopped hosting it. Jose Maria, have you checked your spam folder for the email that you're looking for?
That's most likely. I think that might have been where it went to mine.
Okay, yes, you have checked. Okay, then are you on Facebook at all? I asked because I could get you in touch with Aaron on Facebook. Okay, so just I'll tell you what. If you go on Facebook and message me or Looney Labs, either one, then I'll know what your Facebook name is and I can get you in touch with Aaron, okay? All right, cool. So now Jim has a question. You bet.
So at least at the point that I came into the game, Andy's homeworld did not look like any of these ones that he said he likes to start with in any of the tutorial videos.
Right.
Was the homeworld, did he start that way and then change it? Because I came in halfway through, near the end. Or does he have a new favorite? Is there a recommendation I can give to people who are buying the game for the first time that, hey, as you're beginning, try these for your homeworlds? They tend to give you I know the 2 planets in between, so having the sizes right is better, but is there a strategy for as you're beginning,
yeah,
these are good choices for your homeworld?
So for beginners, absolutely go by the suggestion that's in the book. There is a suggestion for how each side should start, and that is the best way for beginners. Regarding Andy, you missed the conversation about that when you came in. That a conversation had already happened about how lately Andy has been changing his homeworld up because of some things that Will did that made him realize that his standard setup doesn't always work as well. And if you want to say more, Andy or Will or John.
Oh, I would like to.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this particular game, Andy was going to use my homeworld setup, but I went first and I took it.
Ah.
I took Andy's homeworld actually at the very beginning. And
Yes, but
he had to
John,
react to that.
the homeworld you were taking, that is my newer preferred starting.
Oh, okay.
I've changed my official preferred starting a couple of times over the last few years.
Right, right.
But what Lori said is true. If you have the new little box set with the little book,
Yes.
it says in it on page 4, if this is your first game, we suggest both players start with a large green ship, with one player starting with a large blue, small red homeworld, and the other player starting with a medium red, small blue homeworld.
Okay.
That actually is new material that is not in the write-up that's in Pyramid Arcade, but which will be when we revise that someday. Because we do think it's good to say, if it's your first game, here's one to start with. But one of the things that's so great about this game is the flexibility and the way it can become so many different types of, it's just different every time. And there are so many different ways you can start your homeworld and so many decisions you might make based on what the other person sets up, that it's, again, I've gone through many years of like, I'll start with this. That's terrible. I'll start with this instead. It's terrible. I'll start with this instead. And none of them are terrible, just not optimal.
Yeah.
And when you speak to flexibility, the flexibility in the game is amazing. But one thing that is not flexible is once you start a homeworld or build a star, that star cannot change color.
Yep.
So it was impossible in your question for Andy to have changed after he started.
No,
I could tell you
I saw what his 2 stars were, but he might have changed the ship.
That is true. And I think I did, in fact.
Yeah, he did.
And as a math teacher for middle schoolers, I would advise almost not to just by rote follow some other preconceived idea, but to experiment, to actually try all the crazy homeworlds and find out why you should never start with 2 red, homeworlds. And
I believe it was John's intent that players have to figure that out as part of the game, that there be lots of options, that you have difficult choices from the very first turn.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 of any color in your homeworld means it can be destroyed with a sacrifice that much faster.
Yeah, that would be a very bad choice.
Is that not self-evident?
Hopefully.
That one's a pretty obviously bad choice.
Well,
Okay.
2 different colors but the same size in your homeworld.
Yeah.
So you can't, can you?
Yes.
I thought by rule you had to have 2 different sizes.
No, you can have 2 of the same size, but you don't really want to unless you are a really advanced player messing around with things.
It's strongly encouraged, especially when I'm writing the rules.
Then
I like it.
anybody can jump to you then, as long as it's not that one size.
Yes.
This is why I recommend strongly that you have different sizes in your homeworld.
So, so in scenarios like that, where there are 2 of the same size in one homeworld, you get a small universe, which is, it's only 2 steps away instead of 3. And if both sides do that with different sizes, so like if one side has 2 smalls and one side has 2 larges, then it is a tiny universe where the jump is just directly from one to the other. And those are both possible, but crazy.
They're fun and you should totally try it. And it messes Andy up, so it gives you a better chance of beating him in the medal.
I almost did that this game.
But backing up to the teaching side of things, I do agree with Stephen that that experimenting with all the different things is a great thing to do. after you understand the rules, the very, very first time I would go with the setup that's suggested and let them just learn how the pieces move and things work.
Yep.
Then keep
Is-
going from there.
When you do shows, is there a preferred demo that you have set up to quickly explain the game? Not send them to a video, but you
That's
got
what I do though. I send
it
them
up
to
on a table.
For the most part, we do very few demos of Homeworlds because you need about a half an hour to demo Homeworlds. And we usually just don't have that much time. Either they're not willing to stay that long or we have too many other things going on around us to spend that much time. But if I do have that much time, and occasionally I do, what I will try to do is pit two new players against each other, not me against them. And I will set them up with those original Homeworlds, and I will tell them the 6 important things, what the 4 colors do, about catastrophes, and about sacrifices. And then I will let them just play it out and talk them through it as they go.
Okay.
But honestly, every time I teach a friend, I mention and I start setting it up and I'm in person, I almost invariably, because the video is so good, because Andy's so entertaining when you watch that video, that I always play it for them first, just so they get the idea, and it's so succinct that I know I would take longer to get to the same points that Andy does when he's, emphasizing that you should never abandon your homeworld.
Right. Okay.
But he's at a Ren fair where video doesn't exist.
Yeah. There ain't no such thing. Yes.
No, but I can make a small sign or have the URL available that I can write. If they buy the game, I'll write the URL to the video for them, or the search term that brings the video up.
Right.
Or on
You
a,
mean in the Renaissance days they didn't use QR codes?
Not exactly.
it was
I'm
woodcuts.
sure we could make a Renaissance version of it fairly easy.
That would be kind of fun to make a very surreptitious QR code in woodcut that's on the side of a building or something.
Like on a chessboard kind of look,
Oh, okay. Well, how about any other questions before we call this one?
It's not really a question, but I would like to have John take a look at some of my more style games that I've played on Super Duper Games or on the Glitch spot, and I'd love to hear some of his opinions on it.
Oh, okay. I'll try to do that. By next March, I should have a lot more free time.
So John has been saying that he's going to retire for the last 3 or 4 years, and it sounds like he might actually pull it off this year.
And by March, he means March 2024.
Right.
Yeah. He's not going to pull it off this year, Lori. He might pull it off next year.
Yeah, but I really would like to go online and use those the games online more and see you guys on that, and including Jonathan. I haven't forgotten about that playing with different catastrophe rules.
Oh, I have been thinking about this. I'm ready for you.
Excellent. So I haven't lost thought of that. It's just that I went to work today. It's crazy there. So I'm retiring is really hard work. But eventually I'll get on there. I'll get online and start doing that more often.
You might be able to make more as a consultant after retirement than you do in your last year there.
Maybe. I just don't want to do that.
Yes, but if your fee is high enough,
yeah,
they don't want to make you do it either unless they really need you.
I know. Then I would do it. Then I would do it if the fee was high. It's true.
So
Yeah, that's what I had a friend that retired from the IRS, and now they're paying him $100 an hour, and he can't not do it.
Yeah, that's probably the way I would be. But
So for those of you who don't know, so Andy and Kristen met at NASA, but John also was at NASA from then until now. When Andy and Kristen quit, John did not.
right.
And John and I both followed in our father's footsteps. In fact, John and I first met when we were going to extracurricular things held at our father's jobs.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but did you guys go to the same school?
No, well,
No.
we went to same college, but not the same pre-college.
Nice.
But yeah, both our dads knew each other at Goddard
Oh.
Space Flight Center, and
Hey,
we both worked there.
I just thought of something that I need to share before we get off of this call, because it came up on Facebook the other day and it made me happy. So it'll probably make you guys happy too. Hang on.
Oh,
Oh.
So second from the left is John, second from the right is Andy. And you guys might know someone named Gray Kell who's active in our Facebook people, and she's in the middle there.
yep, there we
That's
are.
That's like a. It's like
That was like a couple of months ago.
Yeah. Good time.
Good times.
Yeah.
All right. Any other final questions for this august body?
So I want to apologize that I wasn't able to make it to your challenge day, though, and I look forward to when we do get a chance to sit down to play. Andy.
All right.
Well, I'll take you on again, but I think there's still a couple of other people who are officially ahead of you in line. So
There are, but they have not responded to emails. So
He's gonna jump the line.
well,
Like now, no.
Yes.
So let's-
So Stephen, I've made a note of that to look at your games, and when
Yeah.
I can, I will.
As you can see, like also known as Stevie Sasquatchy with an underscore. Usually, you can find me like my games that way.
Okay, great.
well, should we set up a September event where?
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'll set that up with you,
You
Steve.
want to play me in
Oh,
September?
I want to be there.
Steve?
Sure.
All right,
I want to see that.
let's get it on the calendar.
Ooh, what time's it? Okay, yeah.
Look,
Depending
yes,
on if I might have some things in the weekends on September. We'll figure out a day.
we'll
Okay.
coordinate. You coordinate with Lori for when you can play me, and we'll take you on right here. Perhaps
Yeah.
some of you will also be watching.
Yeah.
All right,
God, that looks so good.
That looks yummy,
does
Layla.
look delicious. Yeah.
That's a good breakfast.
All right.
Tell Ron he's a genius.
Oh, Ron, you're a genius.
Steve, have your people talk to Andy's people about this.
Right? I
Yeah.
will.
All right.
Well, can you pick a day that I'm around so I can watch? Don't pick a day I'm working, please.
I will do my best.
Bonus points if his middle school class is in the background cheering him on.
Yeah.
They would almost certainly make excellent hecklers for Andy.
Oh, that's great.
So,
Oh
you
my-
know, speaking of which, we've got two teachers here. We would love to do something with a classroom of kids. We think that would be a blast. So if you guys have ideas, let us know.
I think Zendo is great for kids.
Agreed.
An
Agreed.
after-school activity type, like an after-school club.
Well, yes, if you guys wanted to start an after-school club, but we're talking about a single event that we would maybe do.
Right, right. But
Well, I am the chess team moderator. Our season ends in February. The week or two after that, when they are chessed out for the year,
That would
that
rock.
pulling them in for, okay, here's a new strategy game. We're gonna learn it one week, and you're gonna get to talk to the creators the next week.
I think
I
that
can
sounds awesome.
easily make that happen.
Okay, well, we will keep talking. That sounds great.
his people will talk to you. In other words, I will.
I am his people.
No, I am his.
And
so,
she
you
is
know.
my people.
Wait, I could
Because
be.
I'm an introvert.
That's true.
I need people.
Apparently you need people, you know?
Ron is your people because he made you something that looks delicious.
Yes, but that is true.
Oh, man. All right.
I used to have people.
Aw, I'll be your people,
We
Will.
still have people, Will.
Take care, all. Great game.
All right.
Oh,
Thanks.
Thank you all for watching.
Thanks.
Thanks for the
Thank
game,
you.
John.
Take care.